speaker this morning. Mrs. Terry Rayburn first came to DeWitt Public Schools in 1994 and became athletic director in 1999. And her oldest son, she's a mother of two, proud mother of two. Her oldest son graduated from Portland, and then before her youngest son entered high school, she wised up a little bit and moved to DeWitt. And he graduated from DeWitt. In her time as athletic director since 1999, she is really the leader of our athletic program. And as you know, our athletics are very successful every season, fall, winter, and spring, and in just about every single sport. And really, she is the leader behind all of that and makes each of those seasons and programs move smoothly, really behind the scenes. In 2007, she was recognized by the Michigan High School Athletic Association and the Michigan Intercollegiate Athletic Association, Athletic Administrators Association, which is really a body of people of her peers. They recognized her as one of the top athletic directors in the state of Michigan, and again, that was in 2007. The reason she comes to you today and the reason that we've chosen her is because we see her as a representative of DeWitt Public Schools, but also as the mother of a current veteran. So without further ado, I have the honor again of introducing to you Mrs. Terry Rayburn.
Thank you very much. And saying that I'm the keynote speaker makes me a little bit nervous. And as I look out at the faces of all the familiar ones out there, we're just going to have a visit. Maybe I won't be quite so nervous. As you notice, I'm wearing red, and I'm wearing red in honor of Veterans Day today. I've had several football players remind me that we're playing St. John's tonight. This isn't cool. So my blue and gold is out in the car, and as soon as we finish and conclude the Veterans Day celebration, I will be jumping into that blue and gold. And I did notice Ed Price, welcome. Ed, if you don't know, was our timer at the football game for over 20 years. And he told me when I can't get up those steps anymore, I'm going to have to quit. And he stopped doing it a few years ago. But Ed, it's great to see you here. Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to DeWitt High School. I'm really honored to have been asked to talk with you today, and I stand here in awe of all of you who have sacrificed and served for our country. Neither my husband or I have served in the military. We were graduating teenagers at the end of the Vietnam War and saw the draft come to an end, and the all-volunteer military became a reality. We were married and began raising our family. As a junior in high school, at the age of 17, our son Michael told us he had decided he would like to try to gain a nomination to the military academy at West Point. After much discussion and playing devil's advocate, going back and forth, and really feeling the pride we had in him making that decision, we really realized that Mike was serious about his choice, and we began to see his desire to serve his country. Mike received his appointment and attended West Point. He graduated in 1995 as a commissioned second lieutenant. On graduation day, he proposed to his wife Jennifer, who, by the way, happens to be Mike Bry's sister. At Trophy Point, overlooking the Hudson River on the grounds of the U.S. Military Academy. Now, I have to tell you a little story about that proposal. Everybody who was there to witness the graduation was at Trophy Point that afternoon witnessing the proposal. At the same time, all of the plebes who were becoming sophomores at that point had come down because they knew Mike was going to do this proposal, so they're all standing around. Mike gets down on bended knee, and at that time, a tour bus of Japanese tourists comes pulling up to Trophy Point. They're unloading the bus, and they're seeing Mike in his brand new green uniform, and they're asking us what's going on. my cousin said, well, he's going to propose to his fiancée today. And oh my gosh, there was all kinds of chatter, and down they run, and there are cameras flipping all over the place, and Jennifer's looking around, what is going on? And they're chattering, and so Mike went on bended knee, and before he could even ask, she was saying yes, because she had figured it out by then. And it was a great moment, and there are several pictures of a young new graduate at West Point asking his new bride, or his fiancée to become his wife, and I'm sure there's many pictures in Japan. Family visit, the family album of the visit to the United States with their picture in it. Jennifer has since told me of the many discussions she and Mike had regarding what it truly meant to be a military family. They spoke about the constant moving, the separations that would occur, and the service that they both would be part of. I remember Jenny telling me sometime later that Mike said, Jen, you aren't just marrying me and joining my family, you're marrying a much larger family, and this commitment is a life changer for you. Mike and Jennifer have been married for over 16 years. They have two awesome children, my grandchildren, Jake and Jacqueline. They have moved 7 times, lived in 4 different states and 3 countries. I remember on their 10th anniversary, we figured out that even though they had been married 10 years, they were actually together a total of 7 of those years. They've served in Germany, where Mike spent many months in Bosnia and Kosovo. He then served in Korea for a year. He was there on September 11th, 2001, miles from his home and family. Mike was in Kuwait and led his company into Iraq during the beginning of Desert Storm. It was then he learned that they were expecting their first child, Jake, and he was 3 months old when Mike returned from Iraq and met his son for the first time. At a young age, Jenny stayed alone in Germany, and she often spoke of her military family that kept her going each and every day while Mike was deployed. Since that time, a few years of duty assignments here in the States, and a second child, Jacqueline, has blessed our family. Last spring, my husband and I were able to attend the promotion ceremony of our son to Lieutenant Colonel. He's currently in Afghanistan, set to be home in 3 weeks. Then they will be preparing to go to Korea in June, where Mike will assume a battalion command for 2 years. My son and his family have taught me the meaning of dedication, sacrifice, and service to someone or something much bigger than ourselves. I thank the troops and their families each and every day as I realize that their and your service has allowed me the freedoms and lifestyle we as Americans are so accustomed to. Mike told me one time during one of his deployments, Mom, we fight the fight over here to keep it from happening in your backyard. The more we interrupt here, the more chance we minimize the possibility of it happening on our home turf. Mike and Jenny made the decision for their life in the military. Their children were born to it. They are very proud of their father. They pick up and move, they make new friends, and reacquaint themselves with old friends who may be stationed with them once again. They are troopers themselves. I have watched them miss their dad while he is away and seen their sheer joy wrap themselves around in huge hugs when he returns. Jennifer told me, and this is going to be a tough one to get through, I'll work on this one. Jennifer told me one time of a conversation she had with Jake when he was about 4 years old. They were watching our plane take off after one of our visits to Fort Rucker. Jake, very teary-eyed, said to his mommy, "Where is me and Papa's airplane going?" Jenny told him it was flying us back to Michigan. Jake said, "But I want to fly to Michigan and stay there with all my cousins." Jenny told him that would be nice, but they were a military family and couldn't live in one place very long. Jake told her, "But Mommy, I don't want to be a military family." To which Jen had no answer. There were a few minutes of sad silence. She said a few tears were shed on her part, and then Jake looked up at her and said, "It's okay, Mommy. We know how to be a military family. If we keep doing it, maybe someone else won't have to." watching that grand flag wave in the wind still gives me goosebumps. Each of these events has a very special and personal meaning to me. Do you remember the movie A Few Good Men? Jack Nicholson's famous line, "You can't handle the truth." Then he goes on to say, "You want me on that wall, you need me on that wall." Well, I may not need Jack Nicholson on that wall, but I certainly do thank God every day for those of you who stood on that wall, and for the many who continue to stand and sacrifice for their country. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And as I close, any Marines out there? All right, tomorrow's November 10th. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rayburn. Now, if you would, please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. As the Herbison Woods All-Star Choir gets into position here, on each of the tables there should be a pin, a flag pin, for each of our veterans. And I think we have a couple of tables that aren't being used, so hopefully there are enough pins for the veterans. Also, if some tables are short pieces of paper for the updating of their contact information, we do have a couple of students that have extras, and there are some up here as well, if you feel comfortable sharing that information with us. The Herbison Woods All-Star Choir will perform for you. Thank You Soldiers. And the Herbison Woods All-Star Choir is under the direction of Mrs. Brooke Broughton. next we have a senior, Tommy Havlicek, who will perform taps for us. Just to say a couple of closing remarks. As Dr. Dieter said, the impression and what you mean to our student body is really hard to put into words. And I know that we've offered up the opportunity for many of you to speak in our seminar classes. And not surprisingly, we have more than enough of you that have offered than what we need. And I want to share with you how much that really does mean to our faculty, our staff, and our students. We know that that is not always the easiest thing to do. Ned Penfield was a World War II veteran and passed away just over a week ago. And didn't really know Ned much before that, but in hosting these Veterans Day ceremonies, really got to know him, and he had shared a couple of his personal experiences with students in my class. And I went to his visitation just to share my gratitude and appreciation for his service, and also share that with his family members. And in doing so, one of his sons had shared with me that how much Ned looked forward to that, and how difficult it was, because he would talk to his dad several days after. He had shared with me that his dad would cry for all 3 days after he spoke in those classes. So we really do, from the bottom of our heart, appreciate your willingness to share that with students. It's something that, as Dr. Dieter said, we will never get from history books. We'll never get from the internet. And to hear it from your mouth and from firsthand experience, we really do appreciate that, and for your courage to share your stories with us. Thank you again for being here. We will probably dismiss at about 10:15. Some students will come down to escort you to those respective classrooms. So it looks like we've got some more time to enjoy maybe a little bit of coffee and juice of what's left. Here is the list of veterans that we have, and really there was no rhyme or reason. I just pulled names, so I apologize. If you want to stick around and maybe go to another classroom, we might have some students that come down that weren't on the list that still may need some speakers. Mr. Spalding, Buck, Enns, Thalen, Frederick, Garofalo, Frank, Musselman, Robinson, Weefrey, Graver, Allen, Wilder, Brown, McKinstry, Urbane, Rush, Osborne, and Price. If you wouldn't mind sticking around, those classrooms will send representatives or escorts on about 10:15, and then we'll escort you to those respective classrooms. And again, thank you very much for being here this morning. Thank you. there's always one other thing. Of course, there's always one other thing. I'm sorry. On the program, there was the back recognizing those people that made today a success, and I forgot to make mention of them. The Fort Greene Knights of Columbus provided the breakfast. Chris Klein, Paul's Greenhouse with the flowers, Big B Coffee, BPA, and certainly our students, staff, and faculty here. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to introduce our superintendent, and he came to us last January and missed the Veterans Day ceremony 2 years ago, and we talked to Dr. Dieter and shared with him how important it is, and that was pretty much the end of our conversation. He said, absolutely, you have my full support, and he's been on board from the beginning, so I would just like to extend my thanks, and with that, introduce to you Dr. John Dieter.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fry. Obviously, the focus of today is on our veterans and our men and women in the armed forces, but I would like to say a special thank you to Mr. Bry, Mrs. Perez, to our administration, and to the school board members who are here today to help make this special day possible. So please, if we can give a brief round of applause for those folks. Definitely the point of today is to honor and thank the men and women in the armed forces for their commitment to our country and for the sacrifices that they have made. One of the things that I like about this day and the relationship that we have with the school is so that our young people of today, the students in DeWitt Public Schools, have an opportunity to learn from those of you who are in attendance today, to understand what it means to make the sacrifices that you have made, and to fully appreciate what it means to live in a country like the United States. My own grandfather, the man who I was named after, served in World War II. He died in 1968, so I didn't have a chance to meet him myself. But from what I understand is he did not talk a lot about his time in the armed services. In fact, much of his service was a mystery to his children, including my own father. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago my aunt was able to obtain his military records, and we learned a little bit more about him and his service in the military. He was in the 34th Infantry Division, stationed in Italy, where he was a rifleman and a scout. We also learned from his records that he suffered from infectious hepatitis and jaundice and was treated in 1945 in Italy for that condition. His records show that he received 3 medals and returned home on an honorable discharge in January of 1946. And really, that's about all I know about it, and I think what a shame. And that's why I think that it's so special that you are here today in our schools to help our current generations understand what it means to be a veteran and the sacrifices that you've made. Within the last 10 years, I've had the pleasure to meet another World War II veteran. He married my wife's grandmother about 10 years ago. And Fred Kaufman is his name. And Fred was an ensign in the U.S. Navy who was on the beaches of Normandy in 1944. And Fred, within the last several years, he's 93 years old today, travels the world to this day, maintains lots of friendships with his former servicemen across the country. And Fred is comfortable speaking about his experiences, and I've learned a lot about him and a lot of respect for him, and especially for the men and women of his generation. We know it sometimes as the greatest generation, and the more I learn as I get older, the more I can appreciate that and understand that. Out of the 16 million veterans of World War II, we only have about 1.5 remaining. And I know we do have some of those folks with us today. And I really would like it if men and women veterans of World War II, if you're with us today, if you could stand or raise your hand to be recognized this morning. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And again, I think one of the most powerful things is the message and the lessons that you can pass along to all of us so we can continue to have these lessons passed on to our future generations. The message that you can spread yourselves will mean a lot more to our students than anything they can read in a textbook or on the internet. To hear it from you will have a powerful, lasting impact on them for the rest of their lives. So for that, I appreciate everything you've done for our country, and I appreciate you being here today. Thank you very much.
Next, we have a performance again from our high school chamber choir under the direction of Mrs. Megan Eldred. The name of the song is You Raise Me Up. Hopefully you are all getting your breakfast. That's, by the way, being delivered by students that are involved in our Business Professionals of America, which is an organization headed by Kelly Williams and Dave Kinishnek, both teachers here at the high school. So we'll give you a couple minutes to enjoy your breakfast before we move on to the next portion, which would involve our keynote speaker, Mrs. Terry Reaver.